I hate how this is gonna have like oh, this is gonna have so many. Okay, where was I? Where was I? So, tough anti assignment. Technically, she's not even friendly towards immigration. But look at the language we're seeing. She hasn't weighed in on whether she would continue key administration programs. She shied away. I mean, she talked about signing into law, but what law? See, Trump is very in the affirmative. Mass deportations. And unfortunately, that's what our country wanted. That's and the thing is, and the thing that's even sad, that's the thing. I don't want to just blame Trump. I blame our people. They want mass deportations. They want this. Whether, whether they are misinformed, whether they don't, well, I know what that means. I feel like I have a pretty good, I don't know what mass deportations looks like actually, but I feel like I have a good idea of what it would be. But look, he's like, I'm going to undo what the Biden admin has done. Very much in the affirmative. Revive and expand a travel ban for Muslim majority countries. I bet you'll see that there are Muslims who voted for Trump even though he is targeting Muslim countries. So again, that goes into, why are you voting for somebody who has so loudly, so proudly, so affirmatively, unapologetically promise to be your op, be your biggest op politically, and be the biggest op power wise? Trump, Harris wasn't loud enough. She was loud in, we can't do Trump. He's going to try and overthrow the government, which is true. But unfortunately, people don't see how that impacts them. I don't remember seeing the travel ban in Harris's communications. And, there are people being like, oh, well, she got Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B to perform and Brat. I got that. Well, I didn't get the perform. Like, I saw the rally or I saw Brat. But it's true. Memes for Gen Z probably went to teenagers that couldn't vote. It went to people in their 20s like me. It was fun. But it wasn't enough. Because Gen Z, you can't just assume because you are younger or someone is younger that they are just going to vote progressive. That is not an assumption you can make. So I'm really curious on the marketing. Like, I assume they went through data. I'm curious what that data says. Because I'm sure the data's right. Like, numbers don't lie. But what are you measuring? That's where the mistake landed. Sure, you could poll people and say, yes, I'm for that issue. But what is the perception of which candidate is closest to that stance? And while Harris, I believe, was in the middle, it wasn't just the middle of this side and this side. It was the middle of a circle. Okay, imagine a circle, right? This circle, right? She was in the middle here. Nobody is here. Everyone's around. She should have moved. You were going to lose people. But let's say it's a spectrum, right? It's a circle, right? Conservative, liberal. Let me put the big circle up on here. So, okay, don't think of it as a straight line spectrum. There are people, think of it as like some people are conservative, but they're here and here. She spent so much time, or Democrats in general. I'm not trying to blame her. I think she ran an amazing campaign, like since July. Like that is not lost on me. But Democrats in general, people are out. People are not in the middle. People are going out and around. You need to go towards that direction. You need to identify who you're going to get. You need to segment. And maybe this is because I have a marketing degree, so I'm biased. I'm talking in business terms. But mass marketing, that's not what Trump did. It looks like he did that, but he was very targeted. I don't want to say he, I want his camp. Is that what they say? His campaign. Because sure, he has a blanket statement, but he managed to convince people from multiple ethnicities, even immigrants themselves who benefited from immigration policies, to turn their backs on those same policies. Let me collect my thought. Trump, I don't know how. Well, I do know how. Social media. Utilized, and I'm sure he had help, because I get right-wing stuff more than I get liberal. Like if I'm signed out, let's say I go on YouTube, chances are I'm going to cross a right-wing content before I cross left-wing content. That's just, it is what it is, right? I don't want to give too much credit, because I do think, there was MSG with calling Puerto Rico like garbage. I don't know, like floating garbage or something like that. It's not like they were on their P's and Q's and they were so calculated and so smart. No. But there was something they understood about getting the same issue to present differently. Because to racist people, you are going to be like, oh, these people take back our country. They're taking over. All these marginalized people, all these non-white people, they're taking over our country. But to the non-white people and to the immigrants, they're saying, oh, these people, they can't come in. They're not saying because, oh, they're not white. They're saying because, oh, these are criminals. These are bad people. These people aren't coming to get a better life than you are. You see how the message is different, but also the same stance? I think that was very effective. And I don't think Democrats did enough of that. I think they said, oh, immigration, we're going to crack down, but we're also going to have policies. Hold on. Let me see what she said. Because I remember her saying that she was signing something into law. Let's see. Yeah, it's hard. Like, even skimming this, it's hard to really see. Like, they have anti-asylum. They've toughened at the border. They said not to come, but again, there's no clear message that I saw. We just saw, you think you fell out of a coconut tree, which I love that meme. I'm a coconut brat. But I think that contributed to the loss. And it's not just immigration. I think the same thing happened with abortion. People don't understand how abortion is not just people who are irresponsible. People need abortions who want to keep their babies. And that sounds dumb, but when, let's say you have a miscarriage and the baby can't, like, it's the fetus, I think the fetus isn't expelling itself, it has the potential to kill the mother. The medical procedure of an abortion is required to get the baby out. So when you do an abortion ban, you can't provide health care. But a lot of people are just like, close your legs, be more responsible. And, I don't know how people are indifferent to rape or assault, sexual assault, or I'm trying to think, like, what are the main exceptions? Like getting pregnant involuntary, or just, you wanted to have the baby, but you no longer can have the baby because of pregnancy complications. Let's see. What is Harris's stance on abortion? Okay. Can I have... Okay, this is opinion piece. I mean, do I really need to look it up? She wants to protect the right to choice. Trump does not. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people are not. But instead of focusing on speaking on those issues, I feel like a lot of the talk was don't vote Trump, which should have been enough. Honestly, it should have been enough. It was enough for me. She had the right, and I don't want to say she, it's really the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party had the right issues, had the right messages, but they didn't have enough of the right messages. You can't, like, there are single issue voters, but there's not a single way to reach them. So it's 10:30 my time. I'm going to log off because I've done a whole lot of talking and I feel like I can go on and on and on. And this was honestly a much better place to do than my Instagram story. So thank you to everyone that joined. Have a good night. And I want to keep talking about this. I want to talk about current issues. So we'll see when I'm back next. We'll see if I can fix this Wi-Fi issue, but we'll see when I'm back, whether it's playing games or talking about politics. But again, I just want to say I'm just so grateful that I have the opportunity to just put my thoughts out there, and I really hope it is received. I really genuinely hope I didn't offend anybody except for Trump supporters. But in general, like, I don't think I'm perfect. I don't think I'm the most morally superior person on this planet. I have a lot to learn. But I hope, I feel like a lot of people, whether it's you voted for Harris, whether you voted for Trump, whether you voted third party, are not informed. I think there's a lot of work to do, regulation wise, society wise, whether it's spoken, whether it's law, whether it's a mandate or not, about misinformation, which I don't think I've even, maybe I have said misinformation. I've tried not that I've tried not to say it, but I haven't really mentioned it. But awareness of how information is presented to us and how to be aware of when we are being manipulated. So that is where I'm going to leave this. Have an amazing night and decompress. For people like me, it's been, Wednesday was just so rough. Like, I literally was crying tears of anger. I was just so angry. I was like, wow, you chose this. But I will say, let's look at this map. Voter suppression did not do this. Oh, sorry. Well, it did. It did. It did in so many ways. But it is not the only thing that got us here. People went out of their way. And don't forget, I'm trying to think, what's the closest blue state margin? Like, I think, yeah, this is really close. Like, okay, maybe, yeah, Mass was like, nah. But Connecticut, that's, like, we are not, and some of these were close too. Georgia was pretty close. But people chose this. Like, that's something I'm not going to forget. There's misinformation, but there's people who are also very much aware and didn't care. So I don't make this stream to be like, oh, like they just didn't know and they didn't really know what they were doing. No. People knew exactly what they're voting for, and they rationalize that somehow, or they don't think it's going to happen to them. But I can't wait. I've never said, I'm just going to set this straight. I am not a good person. I am petty. Like Cardi B said, a beef with me is a beef forever. You could be my nemesis from 10 years ago. If I find out that you're losing or you're not winning in life or like you have a setback, I'm like, okay. Like, I'm not a good person. So when these people, and I'm not talking about in all these states, I'm talking about in anybody who voted for Trump, I truly hope you experience what you voted for. The good and the bad. And I'm sure people say that about me. Because, if you're saying that about Harris, she technically isn't Free Palestine. That's true. And I don't have a response to that. I really don't. But at the end of the day, let's look at that candidate list. Is there a single candidate that is Palestine friendly? Is there a single candidate? Well, Harris is definitely LGBT, but I'm not saying, I'm not trying to get into, technically everybody's bad, so, the lesser evil. I don't really like the lesser evil. I don't consider Harris to be evil. But we also